Katie, Prophet of Mary, Mother of the Universe. Written by Kimberly Toko. Audio by Kimberly Toko. It begins. Katie the kind, Katie the great, Katie the wise, Katie full of grace. Katie, Prophet of Mary, Mother of the Universe. This is a tale as yet to unfold, but one I had to tell. For tales are for the teller to testify, and this be the testimony of a vision which will come to pass once the world remembers our mother. We will then, once again, reign with peace in the paradise promised by her Son, by her soul, by her grace, by her divinity. And it comes to pass some 78 years from now, a group of young children arrived to tour a sacred place known as University of Our Mother. The day was delightfully warm and you could still smell the morning dew in the air. The small group was made up of boys and girls, all different races and aged from 5 to 8. In the turn of the century of our glorious year of 2200, the education system no longer exists. Instead, parents take pilgrimages to experience history and learn of people and wonders of the world. Small summer tours of the places and humans who made a difference during the Great Awakening. The people of our planet had fallen into a fear and a darkness that seemed to be all-consuming, nation against nation, church against government, human against even their own families. There were those pivotal angels on earth who came through for us. What they brought into the chaos of hate and fear was a gentle yet very powerful force. The power of love. Lead with love, for love is the one vibration fear is afraid of. As above, so below. To the Mother for showing us the way, to the Son for his great light of healing he has brought unto us, and to the Father, for we are all because of our God, and we are humbled to be one. This has been the foundation of how we teach our children, how we take our every breath, how we look and see now with our hearts having awakened to her love. Look, we have arrived, one of the youngest in the group declared. I looked out the window of our tour van and the little one was correct. We had arrived. I saw we had entered the long drive to the main university building, and also the home to the regular residents of the charming grounds. Where the road was once a desert landscape, glorious flowers bloomed everywhere. The air was drunk with their perfume, and one could not help but laugh and smile with wonder at the glory of it. Soft yellows, gentle white, brilliant reds, golds, and mandarin danced along the drive. As we wound the curve to the front of the house, you could sense the history that lives within the stones, fountains and statues that made up every path, walkway, and garden wall and structure. The founder had taken years to bring all of the natural materials, including art and statues, from all of the sacred places our great mother had visited, or still appears to give of her Son and her wisdom. As the van passed through the archways of honeysuckle, an older boy on the bus raised his voice in sheer excitement. There! She is there! Our sister! For as long as I can remember, we have just called her our sister, mainly because she loves to keep some things a secret. Also, it does lend to the mystery and alchemy of the place, almost as if you stepped right into a fairy tale or hidden dimension. That's the way this place made you feel. Special, like Christmas morning, but on a perfect spring day, a quiet excitement in the air. There she was, in the flowers, children here and there, her heavy yet silky gray hair in the most elegant bun, her skin the color of sand, warm, and you could see she was a woman who had traveled, like the stones brought from all over the world. Her entire being had an energy of wisdom itself. Yet the moment your eyes locked upon her sweet face, all you knew is that the sun rose and set within her smile. There is not a soul who could know her that would not also know she is our sister. Radiant is her love. She wore a simple broom skirt and silk white blouse, barefoot and showing a small child how to talk to flowers. Our sister usually would have 3 or 4 extremely gifted children stay the entire spring and summer months, allowing our children to develop at their own pace, show interest to what they are naturally inclined to do, has brought forth a new kind of being into the mix, humans who are calm, extremely intelligent in their chosen fields and balanced. Some have a calling towards the oceans, its care, biology, and well-being. Others, the study of light and its healing properties. We have a long way to go, but our new Atlantis is upon us. Come then, we are here, and we only have a short intercession before our tour begins. We were to stay here just for the day, a quick tour of the history and ending with a meeting with our sister herself. It was truly an honor to be able to come with this group. It had been a long time since I'd been at the campus. As I stood there staring at the wonder of the place, I never felt so at peace. I closed my eyes and took in a slow, deep breath and allowed the sun to kiss me as it set itself rising up in the distance. Deja vu. Everything my senses touched felt like home. That's what the mother is. She is home. Not much had changed. A few more statues, the lush of the gardens even more mature. I was excited to see the inner sanctum, the most ingenious labyrinth ever assembled in honor of the Mother of the Universe. The founder had spent decades gathering pieces, symbols, writings, and artifacts from every location that Mary had appeared across the globe. Along with that, there were also tapestries, sculptures, paintings of her son throughout the grounds. As we know, where the mother is, so is her son. Jesus is a part of everything we do in the name of Mary and her love. Entering into the hearth room of the main house, you can't help but catch yourself frozen staring at the floor-to-ceiling windows. The home itself had been built around this room, for it was the heart and looked right out into the center of the great labyrinth. Meticulously trimmed and cared for, what greeted the eyes first were the vast amount of red roses designed to surround and frame the center figure. It was as if the roses were shaped as God's hands, cradling the miracle in the center. There was a walkway leading from the glass doors in the center of the huge glass wall, and with a press of the button, the wall could open up. The sweet, sweet elixir of the roses when the doors began to part. I looked at the faces of the children. It truly is a moment one does not forget the first time you see it. There is a suspended second in time when your eyes behold the purity and power of the divine love of our Creator. You are stunned, not only visually, but the spark of the great inner knowing awakens. For it is these rare times that faith, belief, hope, all come to stand before you with tangible proof that God is real and your soul is immortal. That was what the faces of those children reflected. Beyond the wall of glass, the beautiful roses, meticulously maintained and flourishing, paled in comparison to the centerpiece, heart, and miracle of this place. A glorious statue of our Mother Mary, all in gold, towering 15 feet high. It was an image never before made, painted, or depicted. She was looking up into the clouds, a brilliant smile on her face, and her arms spread wide as if she was celebrating. She still wore a simple dress and veil, but it had the essence of summer. Her feet were bare, and she stood upon a great star surrounded by the moon and the sun. The entire statue was made of gold, a combination of yellow, platinum, and rose gold. Her sash at her waist and the exterior of her veil were rose gold. Her dress, exterior of her veil, and her hair was platinum, and her body the yellow gold like the sun. Her eyes, though, those had been fashioned with a stone set in the center, a very rare stone only found in the deepest part of Mount Shasta. It is said the Lemurians gave them to the creator of the statue, ocean sapphire, said to match the color of Mary's eyes perfectly, and when you looked at them, all you could feel is freedom and peace. The shade of blue was both the color of the sky and the clearest of ocean waters. The detail was nothing short of exquisite, even to what would be the pores of her skin. Upon closer inspection, you could see she was wearing a sleeveless summer dress and a delicate hooded cloak. She had long hair that flowed down the back and her shoulders. Everything about the piece brought a feeling warmer than the most perfect day in the sun, yet you could not but hold yourself frozen for the depth of complete confirmation that Mary is the very energy and vibration of love itself, the heart of the Creator. You feel it in those first moments. Okay, everyone, if I could have your attention, please. It was time to begin the tour, and today I was leading it. You all are very lucky today. Not only is the weather perfect, but I will be leading the tour. I giggled just a bit as the children kind of looked at each other. I know they were looking forward to a staff member, or as we now call them, home group. These were individuals who pledged 12 years of their life to the care, learning, and passing for the rest of their days the message of our mother. It was always an honor to have a tour from the home group, so I could see they were a bit disappointed. Aw, now come guys. She knows more than you may think about this place. After all, she has been here many times over the years. It was our sister. Like a floating candle of the softest light, she enters the grand room. For having to endure this sweet old gal for your tour, I promise a special treat. At the end of the tour, meet me in the community kitchen and let's chat and eat. I will answer all questions and close in prayer. She nodded towards the children for confirmation her offer was sufficient, as if anyone would turn that down. I took the group one by one to kneel and say the rosary and set their minds to receive. You see what makes this place, this statue. The true miracle of this location is its vortex polarity was activated by its founder. What that means is the center of this property, right where the statue of Mary stands, is an open portal of our mother's heart energy. So powerful, magnificent, and pure is her love that everyone and everything within 1 mile thrived in its frequency. The flowers did not need water. The air stays moist and perfectly comfortable no matter what temperature it is around us. We stood on the actual oasis in the desert, fed by Mother Mary herself. Yet that was just reaction of life around the vortex. When kneeling, the ground flowed in shallow, tiny streams which poured from the statue's hands. Looking up at the exquisitely carved and sculpted figure, you cannot hold back the tears. You feel her love, but you can also hear her. When this close, a dormant part of the ancient DNA is activated and telepathically is opened, but only when you are near her statue and touching the water. The center statue beat with a frequency that energized your very soul and had the ability to make you feel like laughing and crying at the same time. As the tour began, each one of us having connected to our mother, we entered the path of Mary's miracles. This was the Labyrinth. As you are walking along the path, you could see the water also flowed along the edge of the pathway to each station of miracles, statues, paintings, artifacts from all across the globe had been monumented throughout the Labyrinth. It was an accumulation of both the pre-New Atlantis and the 78 years following. Some were elaborate, and others just one painting or picture. Yet that was not the true wonder. Each station had kneeling plates, so your knees could touch the water or hand, whichever worked for that individual. Immediately, you would be transported visually in your mind to the moment that miracle began and how it impacted the change we live in today. Mary, through the conduit of water, was able to teleport her memories of those moments and why she did them directly to your mind and memory. Life-changing is too weak a word for the impact of this experience. It changed your very DNA. Being able to connect to our mother in this way ignited the very essence of our true selves as we were prior to falling to earth. You remember, you heal, your body begins to repair itself, and the heart opens so completely that the cells flow within your blood, ignite, and age backwards. Those who are chosen to come here experience not only a spiritual revival, but also the miracle of physical healing. Our Mother, through the great light of her Son, gives us life. As I explained in the beginning of this tale, this labyrinth was perfection, literally the garden as it was intended, paradise on earth. I led the children through the gardens, the air sweet with the scent of roses, the sky clear and the sun kissing our cheeks. With each step, each piece of the garden set for Mary, each kneeling and receiving of her divine touch, you could visually see the change and effect on their faces. Children are the most receptive to her healing and guidance, as their minds are clean of all old ways and can fully absorb her gifts. It truly is the child within us that craves the fulfillment of God. A heart that believes is a heart that receives. It takes a couple of hours to finish the labyrinth, and at any given moment you will see the caretakers singing, tending the vast gardens. All ages, races, and even languages, a world of color no matter where you look. As we approach the end of the tour, the children could not hold back their joy and also some sadness, because you can't help but want to stay in the gardens warm, full of love. As you reach the baptismal pool, there along the path is also a dedication to our beloved Christ, Son of our Mother, the healing and blessed Christ light that forever is a part of all of us. Stations of the cross, in a very traditional setting, are lined along the benches, and holy water bubbles up from under the water spring, which was discovered by the founder. As legend has it, the founder had dedicated her life to the teachings of love, the love which Mother Mary had shown to her, and asked her to become her prophet. It began in the pivotal year of 2022, just as we entered the new era, the beginning of the end of dark times. She, the founder, started her first gathering with a small group of women, bringing 4 of our Mother's miracles to these women and enveloping them what would eventually become the place we stood today. As she continued her teachings, the love spread, and so did the movement. In time, she had felt the need to build a very special place where she could share the many moments that humanity had seen and also began to see, the apparitions of Mary, as they began to appear once again all over the planet. She had been called one night in her dreams to a place at the base of a vast mountain range where she was told to pray for a miracle. How many days and nights she spent at different places all over the world is unclear, but each place she went, our Mother's love was felt and grew. As the years passed, she never gave up. She kept her vision at the forefront, and word spread. Followers of Mary became legion, and emerging from the dark, her children brought peace into the world. We returned to calm, family, loyalty, assisting one another, feeding the hungry, clothing the poor, and building sustainable communities. Then, one hot summer night, she pilgrimed to an area for which the university now stands. She found herself out of water and weak from her travels. The sun was setting, and she did not have enough strength to make it back to the camp, so she sat at the base of the mountain range, closing her eyes, and prayed for relief. As she said her final rosary, she asked the Mother to hold her and take her in her arms. As she slept, roses began to spring from the ground around her, cradling her in comfort, and a cool breeze gently blew her dry, heated brow. As the sun rose, so did the founder, and to her sheer delight, she beheld the vision of those roses as the miracle they were. Hundreds of them all around her, and at its center, a small trickle of water bubbling up from the ground. She slowly made her way to the water and heard the voice of Mary. "Drink, my child. Your work is done." She kneeled to the ground and took the water into her cupped hands and drank. The exact details of what occurred at that moment the water touched her lips is still a secret, but what we do know is a brilliant beam of light shot down from the sun and hit the ground where the great statue now stands. The small trickle of water burst forth like a geyser, and the ground shifted, forming the little stream of the labyrinth flowing from what is now the baptismal pool to the beam of light where Mary's statue now stands. As the founder fell to her knees in pure joy, the beam then forged the image of our mother herself, as we see in the center statue today. For 40 days and 40 nights the founder stayed, praying into the nights and greeted every morning by Mother Mary. She had no need of food, for the prayer and water sustained her. She was given instruction and vision of what was to come and how to build the university. When she finally emerged from her sabbatical, the community of brothers and sisters could not believe their eyes. She was the picture of health, radiant and beautiful, and they surrounded her in embraces, thankful to have her back. Hundreds have come when word had spread that she had been missing, and they too had prayed for the full 40 days and nights she had been gone. Though they had searched for her, fearing the worst, they did not give up hope. What followed would eventually become the full creation of what we have today. People from all over the world bringing their stones and statues, gold, art, and many gifts that make this place so special. The founder, returning to the site of the miracle, was said to never leave the grounds again, for she was to live a very long life, which would be sustained in the energy of the vortex which had been opened by God Himself. "This is my heart. This is my love for all of my children, my gift to you, for together, in union, like the pieces of a puzzle, we are whole." This was the story we all know, and the children had heard many times over. We headed to the community kitchen, and as promised, the oldest and most loyal residence was there to greet us. "Ah, you have come for your snacks and guidance. I am so delighted," our sister exclaimed. This was her favorite part, sharing stories of the original gathering some 78 years before. As I listened, I felt a tear fall on my cheek, so grateful to have been a part of this university for so many years. "So tell me, how did my old friend do as a guide on your tour, our sister inquired of the children, all of them delighted in telling her what knowledge I had of the place and backstory, especially explaining that first gathering in such detail of the sisters and founder back in 2022. "It was almost like she had been there," one young girl exclaimed. Yes. She has a way of telling a tale that makes you feel like you were there." She looked over at me and winked, at which we both laughed because we knew. "Okay, everyone, it is time to give kisses and go. On the way back, you can write in your journals and we will go over what you felt and learned prior to returning to your families," I announced as I stood from the table. As we left the kitchen, the youngest of the children, just 5, noticed an old picture framed in the hall leading from the front. There were 26 women, all smiling and standing in a group in front of a large picture of Jesus. The date of the picture on the plaque, February 7th, 2022. She looked at the faces and looked at both myself and our sister, and her eyes widened in recognition. I put my finger to my mouth in a hush gesture and winked. She giggled and nodded, understanding the secret. As the bus left the grounds, I began to tell the children my favorite story once again. the story of Katie, the prophet, and they hung on every word, now having experienced the place. Is that her name? The founder? Is it Katie? How do you know so much about this place and how it began? Were you a student here? One of the young boys asked. I sat for a moment. I rarely told anyone what I was about to say, but knowing this may be my final tour, I looked over at the little 5-year-old girl and smiled. Because I was there. They all stopped talking and stared at me in disbelief. But how is that possible? That would make you, the bus driver inquired, almost pulling over the vehicle. 128 years old. Yes, it would. And to answer your question, Katie is her name. The founder, our sister. Never doubt the power of love. It sustains us in ways that most would think impossible. And with that, the children all began asking more questions, and to my delight, I began another tale, my favorite thing to do. For tales are for the teller to tell, and I am a very good teller of tales. The end, for now.